Good morning. Welcome for coming today and sharing with us this morning. It was fitting that I selected that hymn to lead us into our portion of the program because I wanted to go back to start with and lead into the song that we're about to do, going way back over 600 years before the birth of Christ. And the prophets were proclaiming there was going to be a Messiah that was going to come. Two of the prominent prophets that were acknowledging this was Isaiah. And he writes, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." He also writes, "A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. From his roots a branch will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of power, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord." And Micah writes, "But you, O Bethlehem, Ephrathah, though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come for me one who will be ruler over Israel, whose origins are from old, from ancient times." And later in that chapter he writes, "And he will be their peace." When they talk about the stump of Jesse, and they will be resting on him on peace. These two prophets wrote during the time when Israel was being besieged by the Assyrians, followed by the Babylonians, followed by the Persians, followed by the Egyptians, and so on and so forth until the Roman Empire. And in each of those countries they were coming along, the rulers were trying to annihilate the Jewish people altogether. Some of the rulers were tolerant of what they practiced, but for the most part, no, they were very set on trying to destroy those people as a nation. So when the prophets were talking about somebody who's going to come and save them and grant them peace, they were looking for a king that was going to dominate and rise up the troops and go to battle and defeat these armies. But that wasn't the case at all. What was the case was the virgin who conceived and bore a son in Bethlehem. They were looking for a mighty king. They weren't anticipating in the small town of Bethlehem a baby that was to be the ruler they were looking for. And that ruler was going to bring us peace and harmony. In this first song, you're going to hear the Latin text, "Dona nobis pacem," which translates, "Lord, grant us peace."
Christmas time the angels sing.
So what is a miracle? Jesus performed a lot of them. But what is a miracle? It is something you cannot explain. There is no scientific proof. There is no natural reasons why a miracle happens. Like I said, Jesus did a lot of miracles. But the first miracle he did was a tiny miracle. He was born. And the circumstances on his birth were beyond knowledge, really. It was a tiny miracle that came to us. And the angels proclaimed to the shepherds that this miracle was and has happened. And they said, come, let us go see this tiny miracle.
Come and see this tiny miracle. Come and see this holy child. Come and see this tiny miracle. Come and see this holy child. Come and see this tiny miracle. There's a spiritual presence here. Come and see this tiny baby and come and see the boy Christ. Come and see this tiny miracle. Come and see this holy child. Come and see this tiny miracle. There's a spiritual baby's cry. Come is the stone of new creation, the incarnation of holy Christ. Come and see this holy child. We come out to worship. We bring gifts of praise to lay before Him as we adore Him, the Lord. The Lord of Lords is here in this town, the town of Bethlehem. We will welcome Him on His birthday. Till the angels rouse the shepherds and start forever the celebration. Come and see this holy child. We come out to worship. We bring gifts of praise to lay before Him as we adore Him, the Lord. Come and see this tiny miracle. There's a spiritual presence here. Come and see this tiny baby and oversee the holy Christ. Come and see the holy Christ. Come and see the holy child of God.
Yes, they came to see the tiny miracle, which was Christ the child. And what led them to that place? But a light. A bright, shining light. Those that could see it, they were led to the stable. Not only the shepherds, but there were the wise men. And how long was that light shining? It took the wise men 2 years to eventually get to Bethlehem to see the Christ child. Well, you know, that light was ever present for those that could see it. Not that they had to see it. But they were led to the stable, following this light, this great light from the stable. And they were so amazed. Now The shepherds, it says in Luke that they were so amazed at what they saw. They went out and told everyone they could tell what they had found. You notice the angels and the proclamation of the Christ child did not come to the rulers of the kingdom, or to the rulers, or the leaders of the church, or to people that were important. Shepherds were one of the lowliest positions. They were out in the field. But they received the news first. The news was for all of those that were in need. For those that were lost and those that were lonely. Those that needed peace. So that light still shines. Even the wise men came. That light of the stable is there for us today. Those that can see it are led to the stable. And that light is shining. As Jesus said in his ministry, I am the light of the world. And once we have followed that light, we are also told to let our light so shine so that it may show good works and lead others in our kingdom. So the light of the stable means a celebration. Let your light shine so that others may hear and see what it is to be a follower of the tiny miracle that was given us on Christmas Day. And so we need to go out and proclaim that. Share the good news. You don't have to stand on a soapbox in the middle of town and preach gloom and doom and everything else. Just be yourself. Just by your actions. Just by what you do to help other people. Share the good news. The Christmas proclamation. And again, this is going to be our last selection, Christmas proclamation. Thank you for, again, being here and sharing with us. And as Pastor said, there's always room for more. We have fun. If you're so inclined to want to join us, we're going to take a little break right now. Start up again in January on the 16th again. But you're welcome to come and join us. You don't have to be an extravagantly good singer. Okay? If you've got a voice that can sing praises to God, you're welcome. So again, thank you, and we conclude our program with the Christmas proclamation.
seats. Thanks again to Mr. Brian Wick and Sherry Worth. yourselves. For starters, I'm living proof that you don't have to do much to sing in a choir. I don't read notes, I just listen. And some of you who are musically inclined will have caught that I made mistakes all over the place.